And you've condemned governors sending migrants to various cities across the country, but where should officials that are overwhelmed by the number of migrants coming into their cities and into their shelters, where should they send the migrants?
Well, we have said many times before there's a process, a legal process. What we have seen from governors is that they are using migrants as a political tool. That's not the way to do it.
President Biden want more migrants to come to Delaware?
I don't even understand that question, but I'll move on. Go ahead.
That folds in the president's top domestic priorities. In Georgia, the president's endorsed candidate for governor, Stacey Abrams, is suggesting that one way to mitigate the effects of inflation is to get an abortion. Does President Biden agree?
I did not see her comments on this, so I don't know the context of this. Again, I want to be careful because this is a political debate, and it's related to a midterm, an election. I'm not going to comment on that.
Thanks, Karine. The U.S. Census Bureau said recently that adults in roughly 1/3 of households with infant children that use formula had trouble finding it. Obviously, the administration has taken a number of steps over the last several months to try to address this shortage. Why is the shortage still ongoing after so much time, and what more can be done?
So, look, the president and his administration has taken actions, as you know, through the last several months to make sure that we have progress to address this issue that is currently happening right now. Levels. So we have seen some improvement. We understand that there's more work to be done, and so we're going to continue to work on that as well. So first, let me just say, got to be mindful because of the Hatch Act on when I speak about,
Sure,
I cannot speak. No, I'm going to get there. give me a second. I have to lay this out, right? It is my prerogative to say I don't want to make sure that I adhere to the Hatch Act. So I got to put that out there. But, the other piece of this too is you have congressional Republicans who are doing the opposite. They don't want to give the healthcare cost. They won't bring down healthcare costs. They don't want to bring down energy costs. If anything, they want to increase what Americans are paying.
We heard again today that former President Obama is headed to Nevada now in November, in addition to the steps he's making next week for Democratic candidates. There was no update on the president's political schedule yesterday, the day before. Any chance there's an update today?
We don't have anything to share with you on the president's travel, and we will be sure to share any upcoming trips that the president may have in the upcoming days and weeks.
Still in the works.
Again, I just don't have anything to preview at this time. We announced, as you know, he's going to go to Florida on November 1st, and if there are any other trips, you will hear from us, Ed. I promise you. Go ahead.
Thank you, Karine. To what extent does the White House and the administration feel the announcement today will actually counter the announcement we heard from OPEC and Saudi a few weeks ago to cut oil output? Do you expect it to partially offset that decision? Do you expect today's announcement to completely offset that decision?
So, look, what we're trying to do, and we have said this many times, is prices are too high, and we're trying to make sure that we lower those prices for gas. That the president, he feels, gives American families a little bit more breathing room and keeps to his promise that he's made for the past several months to do everything that he can in his power to bring down gas prices for the American people.
Would you describe today's action as a counter to the decision from OPEC and Saudi?
I would describe the president's actions today as a continuation of his promise to the American families. Well, I know people have asked what is the sufficient level, right, in order to make that to be at a point where we feel that the supply is where it needs to be. Look, the supply has to meet demand, right? We just had this chart that laid out what was the stark differences that we're seeing with cost. When it's 60 cents more, we are saying to oil companies they need to make sure that the profits that they're making, that also the everyday Americans get that